Hi everyone, you're watching Jana FX, and in this video I'm going to make technical analysis for the coming week. But first of all, let me introduce the sponsor of this video, simplefx.com, which offers Forex and cryptocurrency CFDs trading. You can see this site right now on my screen, and the links to simplefx.com you can find in the description under this video. Okay, so now technical analysis. We're starting with euro dollar as usual. This is 1 hour chart, and let's see the possible trades this week and what I will be looking for the next week. So we had previously, remember that little uptrend which was broken on Friday, and with this week we had this consolidation, so not consolidation, a little correction, I would say, and this is what I would use for trade. So here you can see first it was correcting, going up. This is what we usually expect after big drops. You expect a bit of a correction or consolidation. So it was a correction, and at the same time we had this little channel here, and so that was like again for me double indication for a good possibility of movement. So for example, again, you see Monday, opening of the market Monday was nothing, so we were watching. I would watch usually, and Tuesday is more better for going for trade. That's how I usually go. So you see you have here a very nice drop, about 8 pips, so plus minus about 50-60 pips at least was possible to do from that movement. So I'm going to remove this level so it would be clear, and then you can see the market stopped around our next important level here, which is been here for a while, and after that, what of course the next would be expectation. So it went up a bit, dropped, and then you expected again correction or consolidation, anything else. But you can see it wasn't very nice. If here it's very smooth and very little, very straight little channel, and here we had absolutely nothing. So for me, there would be no more trades that week, so I wouldn't go for any trade. So it would be possible, for example, to create a pending order from that level. Personally, I could have think about creating a pending order. You see, it was trying to break, but it wasn't moving far enough. That's why I'm talking about pending orders from the levels, and I'm saying it's at least 20 pips below the levels if it's supporting level, if it's resisting level, for example. So you would put 20 or something pips, a bit more, maybe 21, 22, depends. You see, this was very wide, so it did created a bit of consolidation, but very wide. You can see how wide it is. Usually I'm saying the more narrow the channel, you can see that one is only 10, 13 pips, and that one is 50 pips. So it's huge. So that's why this is not very good for like day trading. So that's what I try to go for, just a day trade, maybe a couple of days, but this is very wide. So that's why for me it's nothing, absolutely nothing to go for trade. So maybe possible to catch something like that on the break in that area, but it's all up, depends how you would trade. So you see, for example, you could have take that is like, let's say that's like wide channel and waiting for that to break, and so here you would have at least well, again, 70 pips movement, about 60, well, by about maybe 30-40 pips could get, but personally I wouldn't, and it's Friday. So I'm going to continue. So what we would be thinking, for example, what to expect with euro dollar. So you see dollar was going down for quite a while, and expectation was possibly maybe it's time for dollar to becoming a bit more stronger. But remember about the political events right now, is, you know, what's happening between US and North Korea. So I believe that's affecting the market and can affect again. So that's what I'm saying. We're looking at the technical analysis. So this is what I'm saying to you. This is what I see. That's how I would look at it. This is what I would do. But do not forget that anything politically, so we do have economical news now affecting markets. So we see how the anything with Eurozone or America, the also political is still quite important, especially what's happening in North Korea. So be careful and watch the news and listen what is going on, because it can make some unpredictable movements. So just want you to a little bit of reminding if you're not into it, so maybe you should. So here you see, that's what I'm trying to say. You see how long euro dollar was going up, and of course after such long movements you would expect it's turning around. But as I'm saying, because of the events happening, anything can happen. So it's affecting a lot. So for example, now we see what is looking on the daily chart. So for example, I would expect possibly continue go up, because it does look like it might create a double top. So that's the first thing you see on the analysis right now. So it went up. It still didn't reach our level because it's in still a bit of the uptrend channel. It's not very wide, but still, and it didn't reach it. It's not always does it, because you see with these tops, it's still kind of in a little bit of, if I'll just show you like that, you see if we'll take that top, so it could possibly be like this, you see. So it's possible, that's what I'm saying, maybe that was when the turning point, and it could have possibly, okay, wouldn't reach this, but maybe it started to finally have a bit of a drop, but no. With all these news events happening right now and political events, you see it's still trying to continue go up. So it didn't break, and so it's possibly might create a double top. So that's the first thing, right? So if it's a double top, it would be like the first bell of changing the trend. So that's how the technical analysis works. But I'm saying, don't forget about the political news, because if there is something going on, if there is something that's going to happen unexpected, then technical analysis is just going to be broken, so it's not going to work. So if something really not good for US, of course euro would not create double top, will just shoot up and just continue a possible way up. But technically I would expect to create a double top, so that would be my first thing. So it could be a sign for the first sign of the change in the trend. So that's what I would look technically and see. So all we would see, you see it started to go up. So will it reach again this area? So around here, you see, so it could be stopped around here, that movement. So maybe a little bit higher. And then I personally would just, you see right now there is no entry point. So if possible was entry point here for some, for me not, then I would see if it will, for example, continue to create a double top and then consolidate around here again. So something similar like it was previously, you see. Then I would look for possible entry points. So only at that point, if it will reach that area again, where the possible previously tops we had, you see the previous top. And again, as I'm saying, because there is situation right now, of course, the first thing would be possibly it's a double tops, and first thing would be it should go down. But at the same time, whatever happening is going to go up. So if so in the middle here create something, possible go up, possible go down. That's why going here, creating something, placing the both direction orders. That's it. This is where I would be looking, at this area, around this area. Right. So again, if it will not create a double top, it will just continue the way up. So I would wait for going to this area and creating anything around here. If it will drop straight away without any creation, right, without double top, I will wait for, again, anything nicer than that, something similar to this. I'm always saying to you, the narrower the channel, the better. If we're going for not very long trades, like short trades, like daily trades. If it's going to be for longer days or weeks, then of course you would wait for many days. So, but as I'm saying, coming in here and creating something around this level. And again, of course, would think possibly if it might continue go down, or of course at the same time it might turn around again, because anything can happen. So this is how I would look at euro dollar for this coming week. So that's it. Okay, now going to pound dollar. So what I think with pound dollar, we have, let's just see, for our chart, we still have this channel. I'm going to leave this level, I'm not going to move it. And so, well, it kind of dropped. And previous week, what we were expecting is consolidation. So I see it's dropped, a bit of recovery, dropped, a little bit of recovery. Again, it's Monday, had a little drop. You see it didn't go further because, again, it's Mondays. I'm saying it's very tricky Mondays. So on Tuesday went up a little bit and then finally dropped. So here would have been my trade here. So that's the consolidation. So you see, it could be, you can consider it as a flag. Well, it is a flag. And so here you have not very much, it's only about 60 pips, not big movements, because again with the dollar, I believe because of what's happening with the US, politically, so that's a possibility. See, it didn't continue, it didn't reach the bottom level. So it could have been 100 pips, but it's not. It's only 60. So probably about 30 pips could get out from this trade. So again, we see the trailing stop probably would have been out from it. So and you can see all week it would have been absolutely nothing. It just was sitting here. This is what it means is uncertainty again. Again, uncertainty with what's happening with England, Europe, what's happening with America. So at this point, well, what we can see, of course, well, it's in kind of bit of a downtrend, kind of looks like a little bit of, well, whatever, correction turning around. So I would wait again for anything to continue trying to get to one of the important levels, either this level or possibly that level. So what can happen, it might sit around here and maybe just consolidate, or maybe just have a little bit wider consolidation, let's say around this area, and maybe narrowing down until something else would happen to move it. So, but I mean, at this point, it's kind of like stands nowhere, let's say. So you see, it didn't reach anything. So if I'll just move a little bit, make it a little bit more symmetrical, let's say, more the parallel to each other, these two levels. So it's kind of pretty much reached it, but still jumped from it. You see, it jumped from that level. So I can still consider it the use of this channel, and there is still not a clear picture if it's turning around. Well, it's in a downtrend channel still in the bigger picture. You see, in here, it's still in a downtrend. You see, it couldn't break the level of this big downtrend channel. So of course there is a view that it might continue the way down, but with the uncertainty in here, it's stuck. So of course, again, it can't possibly still continue and go with that level channel, or it might still continue and go down. So again, going on the smaller charts, because it's all around these important levels, so I would wait personally again, going for any of these channels and then create some consolidation. Right now, you see it does consolidate. It has very wide consolidation, so it's few days already in the same area. You see about 50 pips. It's a very wide channel for me, for example, and it's very close to that level and to that level. So possibly, you see, it can have breakouts, right? So if, for example, I will draw it, I will draw this channel, but then it could break up and be stopped by any of those channels before it will have a full break. So that's why it is possibility to get into not very good trades. That's why for me personally, I would just wait for getting a bit closer to one or another level. Maybe it will be continuing a little bit as it's narrowing down. So the more it will narrowing down, it will be better in my way, in my view. So that's how I would look at it. So that's how I would see possibilities. I'm saying if I'm not sure, it's like I might miss a good trade, yeah, but it's better to miss a trade than to get into negative trade. So this is how my view. At the same time, of course, could be risky, could take a loss but get a good movement. So anything is possible, because yeah, you can come out from this channel. So it might with Monday opening, wherever, it can continue until there are some news. There will be some news again, of course, for US dollar. So you see, it's like up to here, you have about 170 pips. So it's I'm saying, but you see, it's getting narrowing here. So around this area, when it opens around here, if it will continue like this, then yeah, you see about 170 pips down, and at the same time, so if it will move a little bit around, so yes, it can be stuck and stopped by this level, because it's about 40 pips, so if possible, wouldn't have enough strength, or maybe stopped by this 80, but at the same time it can reach this, so it's about 190. So you can see again it kind of stopped in the middle between this level and that level, so they're about the same distances using that big channel. But it's up to any view how you trade, and your decisions. So that's how I see it, to see a bit more of the movements, more of the consolidation a little bit, to get a little bit narrow between those levels. So this is what with pound dollar. Again, as I'm saying, both directions still pending orders would have been for me, if I would see anything good. Okay, so now we have Australian dollar. Okay, so you see here with Australian dollar, remember I told you that on the daily chart we do have looking like a shoulder, and it did look like a head, and you can see that this is the neck area is still kind of sitting in here. So it did move down all the way but didn't break it. It had has the wings, but it stopped around here. So you can see that's what I was saying. So of course, again, for this coming week, I have still the same thing in the head, mind that yes, it could still possibly be a shoulder, right? So it could be a shoulder. So I would expect, yeah, breaking that level, going up and at least reach that height. So that height or that height. Okay, don't forget about the wing. Yeah, we have two nice candles in here, but still the wings. It's all possible. It can go a little bit higher. So from here, it's about, you see, 60 pips. So 60, 70 pips plus another 30 on the wing, so about 100 pips possible movement. And of course, at the same time, if it is not the pattern, then if it's a downtrend, then of course the possibility breaking and continue the way down. So it's about, you see, about 90 pips to the next important level. So yes, quite possible can do something like that. So this is the first thing, and then going on a smaller chart. So here we had, you see, the previous week it was just moving down, and then we had a bit of consolidation. So here it could have been a possible, you see, it was like trying, it like stopped here. Well, possibly here to use something like that. And this would have been about, you see, very small, like 40 pips, but because very close to that level, for example, personally, I wouldn't go for the trade. You see, it would have been only like 25. So if I would go for something using that, trying to go for trade, then it would be in break even, because you see, it's all started to sit around the area, around this level. So the next entry could have been the possibility, okay, it's breaking up and around here. So it's another, you see, again, 30 pips. So again, it would have been just a bit of the break even, as it's not, it didn't continue its way. So it had, how to say, like a false breakout. So it's around here. You see, if you would work with this, if you would watch this, you would come out with maybe 10 pips profit, maybe break even, like no, zero, just absolutely zero, get in, get out, because it started to sit around here. That's what I'm saying. You see, that's how it's end up is quite important level. So it's still, that means the market still can't decide which way to go. If it's trying to break, so yes, false tried to break, but coming back again and stop by the previous level, you see, from that level. So you can see here, I would personally wait for, again, something creating around this area. It's getting like extremely narrow. I mean, if we'll go in a 30-minute chart, so of course that possibly then maybe on Monday, if the market opens and Monday movements, it might just move straight away, either direction, either up or down, without trying to create something. But so that's possibly, you see, it depends on how would you risk. For example, if a little bit more riskier, then pending order straight away from that level, and again pending order from that level, maybe a little bit lower than this, but maybe from here, because it had a pulse, it's broke it, it's returned. And some strategies is working that they break the important level, then they reverse, and then they break again. So yes, if you are following something like that, then maybe that would be a signal for you that it should just now to drop straight away. But as I'm saying, it's not always working that way. That's why it's all decision up to anyone. If you want to go for a bit risky and place stop orders, not stop orders, the stop losses orders, yeah. So if you, like, for example, you place the pending order a little bit lower from that, it go down. If it's not, then you probably will get it on the way up. So it all depends how you go. For me personally, I would prefer a little bit more consolidation around here. Yes, I know we have a little bit of this channel already, so let's say continuation of this little bit channel, so it would be a little bit more confirmation, possibly just a little bit, and then placing orders both directions. So, but what I'm saying, I would wait a little bit, because possibly it will break a little bit up again and break a little bit down. That's why it would be better to just watch a little bit more to see how it will be behaving on the opening. And also don't forget about the news, of course, news events. So this is my view on Australian dollar for this week. So come out from this area, either going that way, creating, not possibly, don't forget, right, possibly not to that level, but to the shoulder. So right, so if it will go to that area where the shoulder is, if it will consolidate around here, then I would consider it's a shoulder. And of course I would still place both orders, because we do have consideration. Yes, it's a head and shoulders, but at the same time it could be 1, 2 and a 3 wave. So it could be yes, go to the shoulder area, right, and then it might still continue going up. So that's why get in here, consolidate here, place the orders both directions again. going down to this area, again consolidation, and again either going down or going up. So anything can happen. So, but the first thing possible, looking for head and shoulders creation. Okay, this is Australian. Now dollar yen. Okay, so what do we have with dollar yen? Okay, we had on a, remember, big chart again. It was also, you see, head and shoulders, and it did look like it worked out well. And in this week, it still continued to way down. So it's broke to one of the important levels, but still the same we have. That's why I'm always saying, do not forget about when it breaks some levels. Do not forget about there are still wings and other candles. So it's stopped now here. So let's just see. I'm going to remove this level so it wouldn't be use of it. Let's see what the other ones did on a smaller chart, what the trades it could have this week. So, or for example, if I would be trading. So here we have, you see, when we had this up, I told you to look for any consolidation or creation any pattern. So here was the pattern on Monday. It's created as, well, pennant. You can say it's either pennant or the flag. It's up to you which you see in here. So this on Tuesday, that was the breakout, and there was a small trade possible to get, well, about, you see, 30 pips. Well, it's reverse, depends again where you place the stops. You remember, if usually like that, the stop would be above that level, so it would be stop about somewhere out there. So if you didn't have any trailing stops or anything, you waited. So here you could get about 10 pips. If you didn't get out with this candle, then you could go all the way around this area. So that's how probably I would go. Well, depends. Possibly just 10 pips maybe if that candle would have come out. So it depends how fast it happened, that movement. So, and here would have been another trade. You see it went down, went up a little bit, consolidated around here. You see how it narrowed again. You see how it's narrowed. It's not, it got very, very wide in here, and then it started to get narrow. So, well, it's kind of like a down and a little bit of, again, a pennant or little flag, you would say, because go on the smaller charts, you see it's like narrowing even more. You see how much it's narrowing. So that's why that would be a second trade, for example. You see it's all the way about 100 pips. And again, if it's trailing stop, depends, then it could come out in here. So out of 100 pips movement, then at least 80 pips or 70 pips, at least 50 pips you could get out from this trade. So it was quite nice. But again, you see the place in both directions, because yes, it went down nicely, but at the same time it could have turned around. But it had like really nice, it was a very nice a little pattern, like as I'm saying, it could be flag or it could be a little pennant. So it's because from the wide it's narrowed very well and around this level. So it was really good. Okay, so now you see went down, and well, what I can do, I think I'm going to leave this just in case it will be returned. And I had these levels from previous. So, but you see, if all this news was happening again about America, that's why it didn't turn around, didn't have a correction. It will continue to way down. Okay, so let's go on the daily chart just to see. You see here, I will probably draw another level here just to see will it break it or not. So again, you see, in here that will be our, not the last level. We still have that bottom. So you see the next, if it will break, the next point would be here. So all these points, first of all, they are stopping points for the movements, and at the same time, they are places for consolidations. And this is the levels I'm using for as the entry point. So yeah, we wait consolidations around those levels. So consolidate around here nicely. You place orders both directions. If it go up, waiting for here consolidation, placing the orders both directions, waiting for it to go up, for example, right? Or consolidation, you place in both directions orders, it might go down here, consolidating, you place in the orders both directions, you expect it to continue way down, at the same time it can turn around going back up to the next level. Consolidation, again, placing the orders. That's how it works. That's how I work. So just levels, consolidations, and the orders. So you see in here, so we do have that level. It started to have a bit of consolidation around here, and because we have previous bottoms, then it could be also an entry point. So, but it needs a little bit longer. You see, it was a bit messy in here. Messy. We had some events happening, some comments, I guess, happening. So, if it will, let's say, create a bit of the channel. Remember, tops of the candles, bottoms of the candles. So we have. You see, we have about 60 pips, might be a little bit low, so about 60 pips down, and well, probably about the same, maybe slightly more, for example, from here, well, about 70, you see, again, in the middle, 70 and about 60, 70 to here. So that's why it gives a good idea that possible both directions. So about 30-40 pips can get out from this trades if it will, but only if it will create a consolidation for me. And because it's already quite wide in here, maybe a little bit narrow would be good, or it's not too wide, so could possibly to go, just wait for a bit more days. You see about 20 pips, so it's about 20 pips wide. So just wait for opening the market, waiting what's going to happen on Monday, how it will behave in Monday. So, and again, if it will jump to any of those trades, levels, I already showed you what I would do, and you know what I do. Okay, this is dollar yen. Now, dollar CAD. Okay, so with dollar CAD, what happened here? We have this, you know, remember it's like very important level. It went down here and started to move up. So I have this little channel, and this was our week. So waiting for consolidation, you see nothing happened. You see it went down a little bit, went up, get closer to this level, but didn't create anything. So no trades for me, no orders. Monday, no orders. Tuesday again, nothing. It's stuck in the middle of that channel, but the channel is very narrow, and you can see again no trade, moves again, no trade, nothing, just absolutely nothing. Yes, little bit in here. If you go on a smaller chart, there was a little bit of a bit straight little channel possible. I wouldn't go for it. Friday first, second of all, again too close to this channel. So for some who decided to risk and go for this little nice channel, then would be about 70 pips possible, even to this level about 30. So probably 10 pips, but personally I wouldn't go for it. I wouldn't, you see. And so that's how I would work with Canadian dollar CAD. There would be nothing for me. So now this could have been, for example, for some breaking point, because it broke the this channel. But that's what I'm trying to show you, is that you see we had this little channel. So if you didn't go, for example, into trading here, then possibly it's not a good idea to place the trades from that level, because this is our spot level. We would wait from that break in that little channel to get to that and break it, and then waiting for when it stops and around it. But okay, it's continued the way down. So so for me, you see, it was nothing, absolutely nothing. Well, even if you would like try to place anything here, you would have you wouldn't come out with nothing. Probably would be just zero trades if you would decide to go. But I mean, personally, there's nothing here. So as it come out now from the channel, you see it could be just again false breaking, possibly false breaking, and then it might try to have a bit of reverse back, possibly to that level, or maybe jumping inside. So I would wait for again for it to come back to that area, so and consolidate around here somewhere. And if it will create something nice around here, then placing the orders again both directions. At the same time, again, I'm saying, because the dollar is going down right now, with what is happening with America and North Korea, the political and economical news will be not very good for dollar, and we will have some news for dollar again. So then, yeah, of course, it could possibly just slowly continue the downward trend. But for me personally, you see, I would have been out. I didn't get in time and go for any trades right now is too risky for me. So that would be too risky. I would just wait for it to go a little bit back to that channel. So let's see the bigger picture. So on the bigger picture, we had this, you see, double bottom. So that's why it kind of went up. But at the same time, well, it kind of reached that area. So yes, it could possibly, that's worked out. Not fantastic, I would say, but still a double bottom. So it could have worked out. Yes, as I'm saying, you see, it's broke it, so it's like a little candle in here, and yes, it can continue just a way down, but too risky for me. I wouldn't go. I'll just wait, possible for reverse a little bit and a little bit of correction around here. Let's see on other charts, what do we see? Also, of course, again, is as a bigger chart, the bigger one. And then this could possibly be starting also as the first bottom, right? So it could possibly start to create a second bottom. So yes, there is possible. So it was a little double bottom on a smaller chart. On the bigger chart, it's also possible. Maybe will be a double bottom. So create down one and then does a little bit of consolidation, slowly moving like this down to that level again, right? So again, either we'll try to break it or turn around again. So it's all, you see, with all these patterns, all depends what is happening. So what is happening with the news. So technically, this is what it does look like. It does look like. So went up and broke a little bit and possibly maybe a little bit come back and then continue and create a double bottom. So it could be that. So, but I'm saying the entrance would have been around this area. So okay, possibly here. But now you see, it's all happened on Friday. That's what I'm saying. On Fridays, Mondays, Fridays, not in my opinion, not fantastic unless there are like good news happening, right? So if there is good news, then it's good. But if it's just happening, it's just moving, and there are something unexpected can happen, like any comments or anything. But it's just Friday. So I'm saying right now it didn't get in. Just wait for what it's going to do here. So possibly come back and create something around this area. Okay. So this is with dollar CAD. Now euro pound. Okay, euro pound is also going to be easy. Nothing happened. You see, went up, had a bit of consolidation, went down, and just was sitting around this level. So it tried to break it, went down. It's all messy. That's what I was saying to you previously, because euro pound about doing right now about the same, and not very certain what is happening. They don't make big movements against each other, so you see that's why they're sitting in here. So for me, it wouldn't be no trade. At the same time, it still continues the way up, just as I was telling you a few weeks ago. That's what I was saying. It does still looks like it's continued the way up. So that's, you see, it's been all the week like this. That's what I'm saying. It's possible it might still continue. There's still room to that level, but need to be also a little bit more careful, because it kind of reached this area where we have the most candles. Now it's the wings, right? So it's the wings. So yes, it can still continue reach that level a little bit higher where that wing is. At the same time, it could be already turning around. It's quite possible. There is still on the smaller chart, there is no signs of anything of turning around at this point. So you're just getting closer and closer in that area, getting closer to that level. So it still does look like that. But right now, it's no entry points for me. I don't see anything where I would want to come into that, let's say, safely. So what would have been more better for this is to wait for, again, wait a little bit more of consolidation, possibly around this level. Maybe it will come out to it, and then maybe just quietly to see when it will actually reach that, do something, gives a little bit more, gives a little bit better picture in here. It's for me, it's personally. So because it's right now, it's just nothing, shows nothing except it's just slowly moving up. And but going into trades like that, and when it shows yes it's going up, and going into the trade like just buy, I wouldn't go personally. I wouldn't do something like this. But as I'm saying, because it just doesn't show. I mean, even if I would try to draw more in here, you see there is nothing to draw in here, because it's not moving smoothly. It doesn't give anything. So like this or like that, yes, possibly, but you still have this little bottom. So you can see, as I'm saying, it's not really safe. It doesn't give anything right now, just nothing. Just need a little bit more time just to see. And for let's say less risky trades, for less risky something, looking for a better opportunity is for me. So okay, so now we're going to gold, and here we are, what we do have. So I'm going to remove this level to just to not, don't need it, but you can see the gold is on going up, continue going up, and let's see what happened this week. So we had a drop, remember, right, from the week previous. We had, you see here, a little bit of consolidation. And, well, that's what I'm saying with gold. It's still, you see, it's broke all the levels. I was telling you about it. So remember, right at the bottom of the chart, remember, right from here, I was telling you, I was predicting that gold is going up, right? So all I got it from the charts, right? From the levels. Remember, right? So where it's heading, if you watched my videos, you know where it's heading, right? So it looks like it's still doing that, So we've got the entry points. I'm saying for me, for example, it's better to have a bit more confirmations and more trading days to see where to get in. For example, you see here was a very nice consolidation on Monday, right? And then, of course, with placing the orders both directions, then what could happen? You can see on Tuesday, you could get into this trade, right? It's, well, again, depends how many pips you get in. So it's about 37 pips, 30 pips. So, well, possibly break even. And at the same time, if you like go for other way, right? So it's about up, going up 40 something, you see 60 pips. So depends. It could have been a losing trade in one way and winning trade in the other way. It could have been just break even or just few pips. All depends how you trade. But that's what I'm saying. For gold, it's better to look for longer days. So if you see, if it's like Monday, we see here, right? It's broke up and went down and come back again, and you keep that channel. So if you had that channel, I'm still trying to get a bit better how to better to trade gold. So this is what you would look for, right? So you would see when it's something is not going, if it's like you see like here, you will see it went up, so maybe you got a little bit of profit, and here if you use trailing stop on the way down, then it's come back into the channel, right? So waiting for come back into the channel. So if you would wait for it to come back to the channel and had the orders here, so then you could have gone into this trade, or you would just wait for it to break and slow it down around here. So it went back inside the channel, let's say broke it a little bit, come out. So this is where you'd go, for example, for the next trade, right? So you had a good consolidation, a little bit up, down, but back in, and then continue the way up, especially with all bearing in mind that there is possibility it was going up, right? So we would have expected continue up. And you see, finally, you would have at least protect yourself around this area, then it's going up, here protection a little bit, and continue the way. So this is the possibility that I'm saying, this is the possibility of how to trade gold. So it could have been a very good run. But if you were with me right from the beginning of this prediction, let's say, or forecast, you would catch a much bigger movement. So you see it's about 300 pips already moved in here. But right from the bottom, it's probably another 300 pips already. So that's how we couldn't work out with gold. I'm saying it's still a little bit uncertain for me how the best to use it. Like previously, it was really nice. It was here, and it broke that level which I just removed. I don't need it anymore. So in here again, channel, but come out, went down a little bit. Would have been nice if it would be a little bit more straighter, but you see with gold it's not always works the same as with the other pairs, so it does make this movement. So kind of need to figure out how to deal with these movements. You see, how to avoid the movements we don't want. We don't want to get into bad trades, or just take the risks and place, of course, stops. The only one thing I noticed with gold is definitely it has to be with stops, with quite wide stops. And if the other pairs, it could work out a little bit, maybe no stops at the beginning, but with gold you always, I see, always have to place the stops, because it jumps and doing interesting things, so unusual things. Well, I mean, right now is with all the situation again with America, of course you can understand why gold is going up, because everybody trying to get into gold and protect themselves, right? So let's see what well, okay, so again, so now you can see it's broke all the levels, and quite important. So it has you see that area I told you about it, where I told you need to be careful around this area. So you see it's broke now. Of course it gives again that it should continue, right? And should continue and possibly finally reach that area. So as it has it's broke everything. So right now, where to enter? Let's say if we are out and we didn't get into this trade, so where to get out? So we have 1, 2, and boom, like jump in and possibly continue, right, over there. So, well, you see gold, it can just continue all the way without having any consolidation, so it might just continue, right? So I would wait personally if didn't get in anywhere around this area. So just wait for any consolidations. I'm saying it might still just slowly continue up. Maybe it will go a little bit down. So, but it has, as I'm saying, it's kind of has enough space. 200 pips up, about 100 something pips down, even 200. So between these two levels, about the same distance, 200 to 100. So that's how I would consider. Okay, if it will create again something slow around this area, then possibly try to get into the trades, both directions again, possibly both directions. For example, if it will go down, I would wait for come back to this area, create something here, and place the orders again both directions. In the same, gets here, consolidation, both orders. Gets in here, consolidation, both orders direction. But because it's really, really wide between these two, then I would think maybe a little bit of something it will give before it will continue. So it would be a chance to get into the trades. So around this area. But as I'm saying, it's all tricky. Yes, we still have this good run. still have this good run. But to get in, maybe just wait for a little bit of correction, and then went in up. Well, can continue way down. So just wait for, I would wait, as I'm saying again, for better. Just wait for any consolidation a little bit. Okay, and pound yen. Okay, look at pound yen. So on the daily chart, remember I was saying that it does look like it could possibly be a triangle. At the same time, we had double top, which gave us a very good indication for a change in the trend, right? We had an uptrend, double top, we had triangle also, right? 1, 2, third top. So we had double confirmation for a trend, but at the same time, previously it's broken. So I said could be changing again and having a triangle, but we don't need it now. It's not confirmed. You see, I'm going to leave this level because we need it. So I'm removing that level. So you see, that's how we work. Okay, it looked like it could have been possibly a triangle, but what happened, you see, the market went down a little bit to that level, which I draw as a possible another level. You see how it worked. It helped a lot. You see, we had this bottom, it went up, then went down again to that bottom. So we have here what? Again, a little, whatever, you can say it could be a little flag, it could be a little pennant, right? So you see it's narrowed, so it's like a little pennant more. And this way would be your entrance. So that level was perfect for entry point, right? So to sell, pending order from that level for sell. So if it would have created a little bit closer to that level, so around this area, if it would have been more, then you would have created now pending order to buy. But it didn't, so it went down in here. So, and all the way to our previous trend level, which is the downtrend, right? So it went down perfectly, and it's even broke it. And again, where we could have come out, well, on a smaller chart, of course, to see, well, it's a bit wide again, but okay, we had, you see, it's down, a bit slow down, pattern down, and again, up, and narrow it, and here would have been another trade. So it could have been possible. I mean, for me, maybe not as good because a little bit too wide, but with pound yen, I don't trade it at all, but this is would be possibility. You can see because it's in a downtrend and it's confirmed. You see, here's your breaking point, and of course, down to next level. So it's about, well, 80 pips, down about 100, but I would safely would be about, you see, to that level. And now you can see how it's slowing down and it's turning around this level. So what is it now? What's that level? Is, remember, it does look like triangle, right? This is our triangle on the daily chart. And so what is it now? Here is, well, it's tried to break it, or probably it could be in a false breakout, because that's the like culmination. Let's say we have 1, 2, 3 tops, we have 1, 2, 3 bottoms. Remember with the triangle system that after creation at least 3 tops or 3 bottoms, it could be breaking point, right? And now it's 3 tops, 3 bottoms. So of course here again it can break it, and that's it. The triangle will be broken, so it could continue way down. We have another still level, which is that one, and so of course it could get to that level. At the same time, it could turn around. So this is all possible, a turnaround, right? So what about the double top? For the double top, it's also kind of roughly is finished, right? Double top finished. Well, we still have a little bit run, so that's why at one point, yes, it could be because it reached that area. Well, roughly reached just a little bit. So it's still room. So that's why it still could have been a double top continuation and break it and going down. At the same time, it's the 4th bottom, which also could be break and continue here. Then it would be fully done double top, right? If it will get to that level. So yes, it's possible, it could be. But if we will, you see right now it's nothing else. Now I'm going to remove this. Now you see how it worked, it was perfect. And we're going on a small chart and see, does it actually give us any other indications of this turning around or trying to break it? So you see at this point there is nothing in here. It just creates a bit of the bottom. It could be maybe there is another also pattern which I never mentioned, the pattern which called I think a cup or something. So when it's like a round like this, and it could be possibly like a cup, it's the bottom, and it could be a little bit like the holder, the cup holder creation here. So if there is something like a cup, then it could turn around, right? At the same time, it's a little bit like a double bottom, very small, not very nice, but could be double bottom, right? So possibly, but at the same time, see where it stopped. It stopped below that level, so it stopped below it. So that's why with this situation, it's in a very risky area where again could go any directions. And again, because of that, any consolidation just waiting around this area. Two levels, it's getting narrow, and if it will just sit around here, as I'm saying, if it's possible cup, so it could just jump a little bit up, then could be jump a little bit down, and then just continue the way up. So at the same, you see, we can't use anything around here to place the orders to for sell again, right? So because it's not our usual formation. I never mentioned about the teacups because I don't use it very often, and it's not very often that pattern creates on the market, in my opinion. So, but you can see here it's a round, like round. This is why it reminds a cup, the bottom of it. So, here we are. What else we can see here? Well, if it could be possibly from this area, like that could be handled. You know, the cup could be from both areas, cup holder from that side, or cup holder from that side. So if that possibly from that side, if that's the hold, and then there is a cup, well, then it's again, it doesn't matter. It can continue both ways. So okay, so as I'm saying, I just wait for a little bit more to see what is created a little bit more in here, a bit more consolidation. Maybe it's already a bit wide, narrowing a little bit, and then it could be going both ways. As I'm saying again, with the risking and getting into, like, let's say, negative trade or anything, depends, it's again in the middle, right? So you would expect, you need to calculate your money management. So you have about 280 pips up and probably about, well, 300, well, let's say 280 pips down. So you have very good areas, like really, really good movements. They would not happen the same day. So you would expect maybe a few days, maybe a week, it could happen, right? So that's how you see what's going to happen here. Place the orders and stops, of course, losses, and expect how much profit you can make out of this. So that's how it works. But you can see the both directions are good movements. So that's what I'm saying. You can take some losses, but cover it and make some profit. So all depends. But it's around the important level area. So that's it. So that's all, guys, for this week. If you like the video, don't forget to like it, subscribe, share it with your friends, and happy trading. I see you next week. Bye, everyone.